知り合うことができます。先輩の中にはすごい経歴を持った人もいますので、そういう方たちとつながることができて、そういうメリットもあると思います。そうですね。英語ディベート、すごい、当然なんですけど、英語でディベートするサークルなので、英語力、論理的思考力、プレゼン力など上がってきます。それに伴って、トフル、トイックの点数が桁違いに上がったっていう話もすごいよく聞きますし、就活とか留学の上でアドバンテージになったって話もすごい聞きますので、すごいおすすめです。はい、すごい説明が長くなってしまったんですけれども、そろそろモデルディベート始めたいと思います。The preparation time has expired. The motion for this round is this house believe that if the end of the world is coming without hope of survival, government should keep it secret from the society. Now I'd like to call upon Prime Minister to start their speech in 5 minutes. Here.
The apocalypse is coming in about a month, and let's say we four up here are the only debaters available. These three love debating for the life of them, that's what they want to be doing, and the asteroid comes and hits them in the face. Me, however, I have a life, so I want to go to my family and friends and cuddle up with them before it all ends. Inadvertently, in this way, I am stripping these people of the happiness that they could have obtained. However, when death is imminent, when it is inevitable, the consequences are not so light. What happens when the limitations of morality are stripped off? What happens is that people are free to do whatever they want, take whatever they want to their desire, because there are no limitations in the sense of punishment from the government. And death is inevitable to some as well. And in this way, we say that there are two kinds of actors here today. The first actor is the kind of like people who say that because they are going to die anyway, they become more reckless, they become more violent and extreme in their ways. And these people include some risk takers who decide to go out on their own and start messing up the world, basically, which not only endangers themselves, but rather the people around them. It disrupts the lives of those around them. In addition to that, in contrast to that, there are people who fear death to the extent that because the fact that everything that you have worked for, your legacy, your work's life, is going to be lost by this destruction, right? What happens there is that because there is no meaning to whatever value or happiness that you have tried to create up until this point, they become enveloped in a sense of desperation and hopelessness and depression. And we say that this terror of death overwhelms the possible happiness that you could have had in those moments. And that is why we say that we are proud to stand here today. Now, so we have two main points today. First point is about the crime, in the sense that the loss of external restrictions leads to the drastic increase in crime. The second point will be about the internal terror that people will feel from this imminent and inevitable death. Now, we're not saying that this so point about crime, first of all, the loss of external restrictions leading to this drastic influence in crime. So in the status quo, what we have are a couple of incentives that keep us in place, moral incentives that we have life values that we have been brought up to believe in or whatnot. Others have to do with, let's say, obligation to your society, to pay your rent, to work at your workplace, and because you have to, there's a social obligation for you to. Third one, about, for example, laws and punishment that keep you in place, that say that there are some things that you cannot do, and even people who have some kind of malicious intent do not take those actions because there is some higher power that is overlooking you, right? We say that in this situation, all of these are stripped out except one, your morality, right? So what the opposition side is going to be depending on to keep order in place, to keep society in place, to keep the balance of the limitations in place, is the goodness of people. And that's not something that we can rely on even to this day. Even if we have laws, there are still people who go out in the world and mess it up. And we say that when those restrictions are taken off, the damage that can happen is so extreme, right? Because because what you want, you can take without anybody saying anything about you. You can go into your local shop and take whatever you want, jewelry, food, money from the cashier, anything that you want. And is there anything holding you back? No. And that is why we say that this harms the people around these people, right? The innocent people who actually have moral values, who are actually intact and want to lead their decent lives, right? It harms them to the extent that they not only have to have fear from this asteroid or whatever that is coming at them, but also people around them, their friends, or strangers that pass by on the street might be attempting to kill you just because of the thrill of it, just because they can. And we say that kind of thing is not something as a government we should tolerate, because before happiness, before whatever dream that you've brought up or that you've tried to create, the foundation of that is security and safety, and that is what the government has to protect at all costs. And we have to think about the worst case scenario, which is this, right? So second point today is about the internal terror that these individuals feel, in the sense that because even death, people who are of old age and have some sense of death is coming from them, they still fear death. They still fear that that they're gonna lose their family or whatnot. And for people who have not even thought about it for 1 second up until this point, that fear is extreme. And on our side, they are able to live absolutely blissfully oblivious to the fact that death is coming from them. And we say that normality stuff, the fact that they have hope and motivation to work for something that they've dreamed on for years, for their entire life, that itself is a happiness that will definitely be lost. We are not generalizing the fact that some people may fear death or not. We're saying that on both sides, on any actor, in any case, there is going to be some kind of damage that harms the happiness, that harms the kind of livelihood that they've had up until this point. And that is why we say that we should take this plan and not tell the citizens about this disaster from happening. Thank you.
はい、力強いスピーチありがとうございました。今は聞き取れなくて当然なので、日本語解説をスピーチの後に挟んでいきます。今のスピーチが何を言っていたかというと、メインのこととして、この論題を取ってしまう、この論題を取るべき理由として、その犯罪とかが増えちゃって、規制とかがなくなっちゃうと、すごいみんな暴力的とかになって、人々全員がすごい恐怖を感じるよねっていう話でした。で、まず、それがすごいその人々の幸せを奪っているよねっていう話でした。そのどうせ死ぬしっていう理由があることによって、そういう風になってしまうっていう話でした。で、その1点目が犯罪の増加の話で、今まではそういう倫理的な動機であったり、法律とかそういう規制とかがあったんだけれども、それがなくなっちゃうと、何でもお金とか食べ物とかコンビニから取れるし、そうなった時に、モラルとかちゃんと持ってる人とか、すごい困るし、最悪の事態に至っては、隣の人に殺されたりする可能性だってあるわけだし、もう失うものもないわけで、そうなった時に政府として最悪の事態を考えて備えるべきだよねっていう話でした。で、2点目の、恐怖とか、人々の恐怖を感じるっていう話は、今まですごい何年間も働いたりして、希望を持って幸せに暮らしていたものが全てが失われてしまうという、すごい、今まで面と向かって、考えることがなかったしっていう恐怖に人々がすごいさらされる。で、これはその恐怖っていうものを一般化しているってわけじゃなくて、確実に絶対に起きる話だよねっていうことで、インパクトを持っていました。で、これに対して、じゃあ次のリーダーオポジションはどのように反応をして立論するのでしょうか。聞いてみましょう。
We on the opposition side believe that the government side is taking an extremely cynical stance towards this debate, right? Because when you're literally hours away from being obliterated from an asteroid, you really think that there is going to with a straight face say that they're going to rather sit in like a university lecture where there might be or might not be interested, rather than spending time doing something that you enjoy, like playing soccer, like spending time with your friends or family. We think that the government's responsibility in this matter is that when you have like 2 to 3 days before like you're absolutely going to be obliterated by an asteroid, we think that it's up to the individual to decide how they want to spend the last time of their day, how they want to spend the last time on Earth, and because it's the last chance of like actually being able to do something and doing that. We think it's up to these individuals to decide their fate and decide what they want to do in those dying hours. With that, 2 points coming from a leader of opposition. Firstly, society's responsibility towards its people, why they have a right to know and why they should have the obligation to know that an asteroid is about to hit them in the face. And second of all, individual happiness, why this is going to be, as a state's obligation, why these individuals or why the state has a moral obligation to give back to these individuals and allow them to choose what is going to be the most happy or what's going to be the best happiness for these individuals. Because obviously you don't know what's happy for everyone else, right? So for that, 2 points of rebuttals. Firstly, or I guess 1 point. So we think that their whole case was about this idea of social order and that people are just going to run around murdering and like raping people, right? We don't think that's necessarily the case because it's obviously these individuals' last chance on Earth too. If you obviously go out and like hurt these individuals, you're like one against, like in this room, for example, there's 30 people. If one person is going to go around with a knife, obviously the rest of the 29 people here are going to beat the crap out of that individual, right? We don't think that's necessarily the case. If you want to spend your last time on Earth effectively, I don't think going around killing individuals is the best way to go. We think that there's no moral incentive. And moreover, even if these individuals are to commit murder, we think that most likely these people are psychopathic or like nut jobs in these cases anyway. We think that they're still going to go around and murder individuals regardless. We don't think that that's necessarily relevant in this debate in the very beginning, right? So 2 points. Firstly, society's responsibility towards its people. Why the government has a responsibility. So their whole case was about how social order is like the be-all, end-all, and how it's like a maximum priority for society. We doubt that premise in the very beginning, right? Because we pay things like taxes or we follow laws in the hopes that they secure a position of happiness or they secure a position of individual right? We think that these are extremely important things that allow us to like give back happiness to these individuals. We think that these individuals have the right to know ultimately, right? Because you don't know what is going to be the happiness for all of that. A government can't simply decide what is the happiness for individuals. We don't think that this is necessarily relevant in cases of like, let's say like terrorism or like information about terrorism, because that's like an absolute good that individuals should know or shouldn't know because it's an absolute good that these individuals have. It's like a best way of keeping these individuals safe. But in the cases of referendum, for example, like Brexit, obviously you have to like have the people involved and let them decide what they should know and what they shouldn't know. Because obviously people like policies that you want to pass or things like that are absolutely different based on individual basis. Therefore, it's important to have the citizens know why and that. We don't think that the right to not know isn't necessarily even relevant in this debate. My partner will elaborate that moreover, right? But secondly, individual happiness. We didn't think that state doesn't know what happiness is like for everyone else, right? For example, I enjoy spending my weekends playing soccer. I enjoy going out with my friends, maybe drinking or something, right? And like everyone else has other things like that, other things that are different. Maybe they like to watch like manga or like read anime, or I guess it's the opposite in these cases, right? We don't think that that's like individual happiness isn't something that is uniformly the same for every individual. If that's the case, we think that individual happiness, if this debate is about these individuals having it, we think that on our side of the paradigm, we are more capable of having individuals of the state have a more better time spending that. Because at the end of the day, they're going to say that they'd rather spend time not knowing anything, going through their part-time jobs or going to university lectures that they might or might not be interested in. When they know that they're like at the very moment a asteroid is about to hit, they're going to know that, okay, they're going to feel only dread and despair. If that's the case, we think that on our side of the paradigm, when these individuals get to choose what they want to have at the end of the day, like for example, if it's 2 to 3 days before an asteroid hits, I'm going to spend time playing soccer. I'm going to do everything I can to maximize these individuals' happiness, right? Because this is a last chance for me to live and do things that I'm actually capable of before I get obliterated to like smithereens, right? So if that's the case, we think that it's the best decision for the state to allow these individuals happiness and allow these individuals to choose what they want to do in the end. Because at the end of the day, state doesn't know who wants to know these information or who doesn't want to know these information, right? We think that on our side of the paradigm, more people are going to be happier, and we think that state has a moral obligation to teach these individual or information to these individuals. We're very happy to oppose.
はい、ネイティブ並みのスムーズなスピーチありがとうございました。否定側からはその彗星が打たれる前に何をしたいか考える時間であったりとか、その最良の決断ってその人々一人一人に委ねるべきだよね。で、その準備の時間が必要だよねっていう話をしていました。で、1点目としては、その知る権利があるっていう話で、国民は税金とか払っているわけであって、で、かつ幸せな形って一人一人違うからこそ、知る権利、こういう自分たちにとって重要な情報というものをその税金とか払っている代わりに、知る権利があるよねっていう話でした。で、テロとかブレグジットとかそういう場合での一定の情報を開示しないっていうケースと今回は違う話で、テロとかそういう時は、安全にするのが、安全を守るためにその情報を隠す、ある程度開示しないっていう、対策が取られているわけで、今回の場合はそれとは違うよねって話をしていました。で、かつ、ガバメントサイドのメインケースである犯罪の増加っていうことに対して反応していました。っていうのも、人を殺したりとかするやばいやつがいるっていう話をしていたけれども、その人たちだってもう地球生きていられる最後の時間であるわけなんだから、そんな時にそんな無駄なことに時間を使わないよねっていう話をしていました。っていうのも1点目に殺そうとしたら普通に周りの人たちとかが見てそれを防いだりするよねっていう話と、2点目にそういう本当にやばい人たちってどっちにしろ人を殺しまく犯罪とか犯してる人たちだから、そういう人たちって今回のディベートでは関係ないよねっていうふうに反応していました。で、2点目に、個人の幸せの話をしていて、個人一人一人で幸せの形って全員違うよね。で、一般化できないよねっていう話でした。サッカー好きな人もいれば、漫画好きな人もいるし、飲んだりした人もいるだろうし。で、そうなった時に、そのいい時間の使い方っていうのは何も知らずに会社とか大学とかに行ってしまったらせっかくの最後の時間とかがもったいなくなっちゃうから、より多くの人の幸せを政府として守るべきであって、その時には一人一人がその決定する時間であったり権利を、受け取るべきだよねっていうのが、っていう論でした。はい、これを受けて、またガバメントサイドのデピティプライムミニスターはどのように反応して、再立論するのでしょうか。楽しみにしましょう。
全然思ったの何これやだ。
So now let's call upon the Deputy Prime Minister. Here.
Let's clarify the assumption coming from the opponents, right? They said that the people can decide what is happiness for them, and this happiness can always and suddenly be achieved if they know the fact that they would die in a short time, right? We say no, right? Maximizing the happiness takes extremely long time for you to be able to, for example, come true your future dream, for example, right? But that's why we say current content of happiness that the individual can have in a daily life should be prioritized in the first place, right? That's why we're very proud to promote this motion. One thing coming from Deputy Prime Minister, first we'll talk about, can individuals be happy just because they know the end of their lives, right? Because the main contention coming from their side of the house with this. Then what's going to happen in the opposition bench in the first place, right? Their side of the house mentioned it's better people being able to decide how they want to end their lives, right? No, they can't decide. They cannot rationally choose what is happiness for them. They don't even know what's the happiness for them, right? me myself is debating right now, but I don't know, I'm not quite sure whether or not debating is happiness for me, right? People are not able to rationally choose the option which is true happiness for them. Me myself do not always think what is happy for me. We don't think people would suddenly be able to rationally calculate, and those happiness would suddenly be achieved in their in both paradigms in the first place, right? Rather, they would lose the hope of their lives because lives in opposition bench. Why? Because in opposition paradigm, current content of happiness, i.e., situation that the happiness of individual or at least maximized under the status quo, was significantly diluted in their side of the house, right? What do I mean by this? We think what constitutes happiness is not the result, but the process of individual trying to acquire their future hope, right? I have a dream to get the jobs in consulting firm, and I want to get married with a very nice guy, and I want to have 2 children in the future, and those children should go to the Waseda Jitsuyo High School, right? In order to achieve this, I put my effort to studying in Waseda University and job recruiting, right? That's my happiness, because those people can have the hope in their process that they will be able to acquire. There's an uncertainty of life, but I may be happy if I put my effort, right? That's the happiness we are talking about, right? What's the happiness of the individual that opposition is talking about, right? It takes a long time. For example, I cannot be a consultant right now, and you cannot be the debater like Kaito-kun right now, right? But it takes a long time. That's why we say current content of happiness, that we without feeling the fear of sudden death, should be prioritized, right? Even they say that there's if you go to the university, that might be not might be the maximization of happiness, right? No, you can also talk with your friends in university. Even if lecture is boring, I admit that. Even if lecture is boring, you can be away from the fear of death and truly enjoy your life. You can go to the gakushoku and eat very nice lunch in the Keio University, right? We think that makes the people happy and the current content of happiness, right? On the occasion, we say people feeling without fear of death and the daily life should be prioritized, right? And then about the state, right? We say the state is not always obliged to publicize all the information to the citizen in the first place. If there's an information that may significantly damage the citizens' lives, for example, information of military of foreign countries or war information is not always publicized to the citizen, right? State is not providing any information on the occasion because the citizens would get confused. Simply, they will feel the fear. Simply, they cannot rationally choose what is happiness for them, right? On the occasion, in order to protect the current content of happiness, we say state do not have any obligation to publicize all the information. That's the duty of government is cultivating the ground of happiness. That is to say, security of safety, right? That's the main contention come from the Prime Minister and never rebutted by leader of opposition. I expect the DLO to rebut this. And in terms of likelihood, our side should be prioritized because opposition benefit is very speculative, right? In order for them to be able to win this debate, they need to prove A, if people know the end of the world, they rationally calculate what is happening for them, and B, they can choose the most best option for them, and also C, the result of action can maximize their happiness, right? That's the three logics that they need to prove in order for them to win this debate, right? And finally, I, as a debater from Waseda University, I really love Keio, although they are rivals. I strongly recommend you to join in the Keio debate squad in order for you to enjoy your life. That's the current content of happiness I'm talking about, and I love KDS. That's why I'm very proud to propose.
愛のこもったスピーチありがとうございました。嬉しいです。早稲田も大好きです。私たちも。はい。まず、彼女がデピティとしてやっていたこととして、その相手の、大きな前提である、その情報を知れば幸せになるっていうのって違うよねっていうところをこう否定していました。っていうのも幸せになるのってすごい時間がかかるから、その日常のその現在の幸せっていうものが優先されるべきだよねっていう形で反応していました。で、1点目に話していたのが、そもそも何が幸せかってその人たちって、その世界が終わるっていう 情報を受けた上で理性的に選べないよね、急にそんなこと言われて。で、むしろ希望を失うよねっていう話をしていました。で、逆になんかその幸せっていうものは、その目標とかがある中で、その目標に向かって、頑張る過程の中で得られて、それは結果じゃなくてその過程が大事なんだよねっていう話をしていました。っていうのも、その目標って結局すぐにそれを、それを達成することができないからっていう話をしていました。で、2点目に、政府って、いつも、こう、情報すべてを開示するっていうわけではないよねって言っていました。で、これも、結局、現在の幸せを守るためには、政府ってある程度、こう、人々が知って、それで混乱しちゃって、こう、希望を失ったりとかすることを防ぐために、すべての情報を、言っているわけではないよねっていう話をしていました。で、最後に、結局、このディベートをこうどういうふうに評価するべきなのかっていう評価軸を示してくれていて、っていうのも、このディベート、両サイドを比較するときに、このどっちのサイドでより何が起きやすいかっていうことを考えたときに、起きやすさで、こっちの方が、ガバメントサイドの方が優先されるべきだよねっていう話をしていました。その中で、オポジションと否定側は、どうやってすぐ幸せになれるのかっていう話と、何がその幸せっていうものを定義するのかっていう話と、をこう証明しないといけないよねっていうことで、否定側に対してのこう証明責任を押し付けるっていう形で、こう比較に有利な形で持っていっていました。これに対して最後の Deputy Opposition はどのように、比較していくのでしょうか。楽しみにしてましょう。So now I'd like to follow up on the Deputy Leader of Opposition to summarize the case within 5 minutes. Here.
これ映ってんの？映ってない気がするけど。まあいいや。They say that mankind is an inherent beast, where all stores are going to be robbed and electricity is going to be cut, and we die in despair. But we believe that this is an extremely pessimistic scenario which neglects the nature of human being and also the very mechanism of why the crime occurs in such situation. For sake of the happiness of our last very moment, I'm going to talk about two substances which is going to directly clash on this case given by the side government. But before that, one response that didn't really fit into my argument. So the main argument coming from the DPM was that achieving happiness requires tremendous time. Yes, we agree. And that's why people have been storing money and making effort in order to pursue your goal in the long run, right? Like going to a trip or like eating sushi or whatsoever, right? And we have to recognize that government is depriving the opportunity to pursue your happiness in the very last moment, right? So what we have to know is that our hope and our goal is something that happens also in the short run and the long run. And since the government cannot recognize if the goal happens like in the short run or long run, that's why we have to disclose that information and allow people to know and rationally calculate what they want to do in the very last moment. So with that being said, my first substanding is about why the social order is going to be still maintained in the high likelihood when the asteroids or something is going to hit the Earth in our face or whatsoever. Now the first level that we have to talk about is that the social infrastructure, including things like police or firemen, is still going to be existent on our society, right? Because if you look at the example of the policemen who announced to evacuate from the city or the city and until the very moment when the tsunami struck the Tohoku region, we can see that there are people who decided to consecrate and dedicate their life for the sake of society and the happiness of people, right? We think the same thing applies for anything like transportation or the restaurant or any professional that are existent in the society. But on the second level, even if the police or firemen become extinct and they say that this is going to be a chaotic situation, we think that people will relatively peace and the crime will not occur to that extent. Why is that so? Because if you look at the reason on why the crime occurs in such situation, we think that the crime occurs fundamentally for the sake of the survival, right? When like hyperinflation hit Zimbabwe, or like when the crisis struck like Venezuela or whatsoever, yes, the poor or the people who had to rob the food to overcome the poverty that perpetuates in the long run, right? But if we recognize that the world is going to end in 2 days or 3 days, then I don't see any incentive for people to punch in the face or like conduct mass shooting for sake of your own personal benefit, right? Or especially in Japan, where people are able to like share the food that is being abundant, or there are many ways to like materialize their happiness. We think that the resource is abundant that people can share enough and to have their own last moment in the way they want. The last level that I want to talk about is that there's the risk of retaliation by the citizen is also going to avert the crime to happen. Why? Because when the police is virtually non-existent in our society, then we can all recognize that we must protect ourselves and collectively with our neighbors, or else we have to or else there's no one who's going to protect us, right? And like, if, for example, if that guy over there, if Kaito wants to conduct mass shooting in his classroom, what we are going to do is to stop him at all costs possible, right? Because it's even more risky for him to conduct mass shooting because he cannot no longer expect humane treating by the police, but he is going to have a risk under the risk of harsher penalty by us the classmates, right? We think that criminal has no incentive to risk themselves to commit the crime and have such an unproductive last moment. But and the second thing that I want to talk about is that even if the Yumi is a sad person who cannot find her way to happiness in the last moment, why the right of knowing overcomes the right of not knowing in vast majority of instances, right? So if you look at the classical right of not knowing, that is to say, the terminally ill patients who reject their information to be given by the doctor, we think that those are the people who already recognize the potential of death and status of cancer, but officially state that they don't want to have the further information because they don't want to have a fear whatsoever, right? And under those circumstances, the doctors or the surroundings and every people surrounding are able to recognize that right and respect such decision and to hide the information based on his will or her will, right? And that is the case when the right of not knowing is pursued. We think that the right of not knowing occurs and it can be followed when it has only been manifested by the people who are under the threat, right? And therefore we think that the right of not knowing by the citizen in this particular occasion is something virtually non-existent, right? We think that state cannot make a sweeping generalization that people will be feared and therefore we shouldn't tell that, right? We think this is akin to a doctor not telling the status of cancer to a patient by saying, oh, he might be scared by the cancer, so I'm not going to tell him. We think this is something disgusting as the role of the state. And that's why we have been talking about consistently with the lead of opposition, right? State can never label what kind of decision people want and what kind of information people want. And that's why they have to disclose the information and allow the decision by the citizen. For example, with Brexit, there are many factors where people are going to be affected in terms of like economical happiness or the happiness that comes from employment, national pride, or religion, or whatsoever. Since there are many layers of deciding what kind of happiness you want, that's when we have to allow the citizen to get the information and decide how they want to pursue the last moment, right? We think this is something contrary to things like terrorism or something like hiding information based on for sake of military tactics. We think for sake of people's happiness, we think that this is something that is fundamentally important. For sake of like having a last moment that is going to be important for your own memory and your own dignity, we beg to oppose.
非常に洗練されたスピーチありがとうございました。最後にデピティリーダー・オブジェションが話していたこととしては、あまりにも肯定側の論ってすごい悲観的だよねっていう話をしていました。人間ってそこまでやばくはないよねっていうふうに、最初イントロで言っていました。で、まず1点目に、幸せになるために時間がかかるからっていう話に対しては、まずそもそも目標が短期的なのか長期的なのかって、まず政府としてはわからないから、だから時間がかかるからってだけで教えないのって違うよねっていう形で反応していました。で、メインに相手の肯定側の一番大きな、重要な、論であった、社会秩序がなくなってしまうっていう話に対して、ぶつかる形で反応しつつ、自分たちの論を再び立てていました。で、例えば地震の時とか、東日本大震災の時とか、警察っていなかったけれども、でもそんなにすごいみんなが店とかに行って、いろいろ奪ったり、お金奪ったりとかすることってそんな起きてないよねっていう話をしていました。それと、犯罪とかそういうのって、結局、生存のためにやっているわけであって、例えば、それでジンバブエの例とか出したりして、どうせ、2日とか3日で世界が終わるんだったら、そこまで何か奪って自分で幸せになろうってする動機ってそこまでないし、現実的に考えたら日本とかそういう国だったら、物資とか共有できるし、そこまで社会秩序がやばくなるっていう相手の論に対して疑問を投げかけていました。で、警察がいないっていう点に対しては、結局お互いをむしろ守るようになるよねっていうことを言っていました。例えば、自分が犯罪とかを犯した時に、結局その犯罪者って今の警察の扱いよりももっとひどい扱いを受ける可能性があるわけで、結局そういうリスクだってその犯罪者にあるから、そこまではやばくはならないよねっていうことを言っていました。で、結局、 ブレグジットの時とかもそうだし、こう医者が本当の自分の病気の状況を患者に伝えたりとかするのと一緒で、その人にこう大事な情報であって、その人がその自分の幸せを決定するにあたって必要な情報である限りは、政府としてその最後の人々のその自由に使える時間っていうものをこう意味のあるものにするために政府として教えるべきだよねっていう話をしていました。はい。
はい、皆さん、ご清聴ありがとうございました。今聞いてみて、ガバが勝ったかオポが勝ったか自分の中で少し考えてみてください。周りの友達と話し合ったりしてみてもいいので、ちょっと時間取ります。
僕らが知りたいだけなので、なんか人にこっちの方が好きだったっていうので強調してくれれば嬉しいなっていう。
考えられましたか？では、オーディエンスボード取りたいと思います。肯定側のガバメントが勝ったと思う人。OK です。否定側のオポジションが勝ったと思う人。では、今日はオーディエンスボードということで、オポジションの勝ちです。拍手。今聞いてみて全然聞き取れなかったっていう人も多いと思うんですけれども、それは全然大丈夫なので心配しないでください。今日はモデルディベートによってディベートってこんな感じなんだっていう雰囲気を味わっていただければ幸いです。今日も、食事会開かれていまして、5時45分に諭吉前で、日吉の有名なイタリアンレストランのドマーレというところに行く予定なので、ぜひぜひ、新刊ラインの方に、ノートあるので、いいね押してください。8日の6時半、8校集合で渋谷の一休というお店で新刊コンパ開かれていますので、そちらの方もぜひぜひいいねお願いします。ここからは質問タイムにしたいと思います。質問ある方はぜひ話しかけてください。履修相談も受け付けていますので、ぜひそれについても聞いてください。今日はお集まりいただきありがとうございました。確かに。